The second I get here, I just go until the evening, until night. There's some days where I'll get here at first thing in the morning, and I won't be done until 2 a.m.
Well, it's the same story for many Canadian post-secondary students. Crammed schedules, sleepless nights, plenty of stress. Between work and school and the pressure to succeed, many students are struggling, sometimes with tragic consequences. Joanna Remiliotis spoke to students about the challenges they face.
Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario. The first semester is over. The campus seems quiet, but the race is just beginning.
Sort of a feeling of a constant drone, that it's like there's a constant pressure.
And I woke up this morning in this panic.
It's exam time, a time when there never seems to be enough time, and when the line between stress and sickness begins to blur.
Your heart starts racing, you start to get a sweat and start to feel lightheaded, your limbs start to feel numb. You start to think, oh, I'm having a heart attack. And that's what makes the panic attack worse and worse. And if you don't know that, then having 5 or 6 of those a day is extremely debilitating.
Nick Francis is in his 4th year of politics and economics. He got into one of the country's top universities with big ambitions, so big. In his 2nd year, he developed a full-blown anxiety disorder trying to keep up to them.
And I dug in way too far and took on everything I possibly could. So it was mostly self-inflicted.
Like most young people, Francis suffered in silence and just kept cramming in a lot, trying to fit in even more. He has a full course load and works as the university rector or student representative.
Yeah, it's pretty hectic. I mean, the second I get here, I just go until the evening, until night. There's some days where I'll get here at first thing in the morning, and I won't be done until 2 a.m. I just constantly.
Studying fit in?
It fits in wherever I can find a break.
But finding a break seems to be getting harder. Across the country, university health centers are reporting a staggering increase in students asking for help and hitting a crisis point, something this university knows all too well. Jack Windler was a first-year student at Queen's who killed himself in 2010. There were few clues he was that desperate. His father will never forget the day he got the call.
You get a call from a police officer, and he says, I'm coming to your house in 3 minutes. And in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, he's actually already told you that you've lost your son and that it was suicide. And your life is permanently changed.
Eric Windler turned his grief into a mission to get young people talking about mental health. Part of his work is creating videos like this one.
2 out of every 3 people who suffer from a mental illness suffer in silence.
Because shortly after he lost his son, 3 other Queen's students took their own lives too.
I kind of got drawn into the possibility that we could make a difference by sharing Jack's story and getting educators and parents, and most importantly, students talking about mental health.
Jack's suicide and the ones that followed also prompted Queen's to take a closer look at student stress, to find out what really is behind it and to find ways the university can help.
We have a very competitive marketplace, and this is a very competitive university.
David Walker commissioned a report that came up with ways Queen's can avoid another mental health crisis, from hiring more counselors to adding an extra reading week.
Obviously, suicide is an absolute tragedy, and one would like to see no suicides ever. I think even more important is to make sure that we provide promotion of wellness and health to the extent possible on a campus like Queen's, and address the needs of those who become ill.
But it's hard for students to let go of the pressure from school and from themselves.
You have a 70% exam. That's 3 hours is going to determine 70% of this whole course grade. That's the school right there that is causing that pressure.
I put a lot of stress on myself. I don't like disappointing myself, and I don't like having to do poorly, so it's always constant pressure. If it's not from parents or peers, it's pressure from myself.
There's that added pressure that you've got to go above and beyond good marks, above and beyond just a couple clubs or extracurriculars that you do. You've got to do it all.
But there is an emerging openness. Students here are publishing memoirs of their darker moments and also finding ways to help themselves, like using pet therapy. More than 1,000 students have sought comfort in a furry friend during exam time.
It made it so much easier. And then,
as for Francis, he still gets panic attacks, but not as severe. He's getting more sleep, and he's learned the power of a 2-letter word.
Saying no, because that was probably my biggest problem, is I would just say yes to every single opportunity, and I make an effort to say no as much as I can when it starts to impact my life negatively.
But he admits he's still learning what many here are still struggling with, that the rest of their lives don't have to begin or end here. Joanna Remiliotis, CBC News, Kingston, Ontario.
The number of young people struggling with stress and mental health has prompted a summit called Unleash the Noise. This March, students from high schools and post-secondary schools across Canada will come to Toronto to talk about new ways to approach student mental health issues.